Welcome to another episode of the MMA Lock-Cast. I'm your host, Manpreet, aka MMA Lock of the Night, and your boy on Twitter at MMA LOTN. I'm just going to soak this in for a little bit. I got the hat. I still got goosebumps. I'm not over the high of this whole Raptors thing that's going on over here. And I know a lot of you probably aren't Raptor fans. But I'm dedicating at least a solid minute to the champions of the world. I must. We got the king in the north, Kawhi Leonard doing his goddamn thing. Marcus all going crazy at the parade yesterday. Bet your ass I had this fucking on repeat the entire way to the subway while I was chugging 4 fucking tall cans. Ooh. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit so we can get this conversation started. But you guys are here for, we got UFC fucking, I don't even know what's going on right now. UFC, I'm so encaptured by the moment right now. This song just brings it out of me. We got UFC Greenville going down this weekend. Korean Zombie against Renato Moicano. Great fight. But we're going to kick this off with the casuals. So I got no fights this time. Sorry, let's bring that shit to an end so I can get into this conversation. I was really into that. I was feeling it. We got a solid minute and a half out of that, so I'm good.
It's intense. It's
good.
A big thing going on.
It's a big thing going on. All right, so instead of showing Big Rob a clip this week, I'm actually going to be going with a little bit of a discussion. Okay. So let's set the scene.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Yep.
The night before yesterday, I could not sleep. Sunday night, I could not sleep. Super excited to go to the parade. Oh, big. I was so excited. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to work. I normally go to work for like 6:30 a.m., but I was still up at like 6:30. Like,
oh shit.
All right, let's fucking. Yep. All right, I gotta fucking get the pre-drink on. I gotta get ready.
Yeah.
I gotta meet my boys downtown at 8:30 a.m. Yeah. So I had 2 hours to get downtown once I woke up. Just jittery, fucking, just so ecstatic. Walk down to the subway. It takes about a 20-minute walk. Again, like I said, chugged 4 tall cans. I was shit-faced by the time I got to the subway. Got downtown, sparked a J. Ended up walking the wrong way for about 10 minutes or so until realizing that I'm at Queen's Park when I should be going the other way, trying to get to Nathan Phillips Square.
Shoot.
And I get there, and I finally meet up with my boys. Okay. And I got to go take a piss because what happened before the subway, right? Everybody goes to that shit. Got to drain the main vein. And after I got done with the washroom, I could not find my boys. I could not find them at all. There's no reception. With that many people being around.
Dude, for sure. It's impossible to communicate.
All the signals are fucked up pretty much, right?
They can't handle
Nothing
the load.
was getting through. Every now and then I would get something, but it's not guaranteed. So I left my house at 7:30.
Okay.
My phone died by 11 a.m. somehow.
You know why? Because it can't connect to the network because there's too many people. So it's trying to connect.
And just draining the battery. I should have just fucking stopped any of the messages I was trying to send out.
Just turn it on airplane mode, yeah.
When my phone got to like 10%, I texted my brother. I'm like, yo, I'll call you guys after this is done, and then we'll meet back up.
Okay.
You guys enjoy wherever the fuck you are. I'm going to enjoy wherever I'm. I was alone at that point.
Okay.
I ended up meeting some girl that like was just standing in front of me.
Okay.
I just accidentally kept bumping into her because people behind me just kept moving.
Yeah.
So, eventually she goes, I know that it's you that's continuously bumping me. It's totally fine. I'm like, I know. I'm just trying to do the best I can. I'm just trying to hold hold it right now. Right? Yeah. It's all good. And then we just ended up talking. It was just hilarious speaking with somebody else who also lost her friends. So she goes, yeah, I texted her. I told them I'll be there after too. Anyway, they're scheduled to be there. The parade's supposed to end at the rally point, which is where I was, at 12:30 p.m.
Okay.
They did not show up until 3:30 p.m.
Holy shit.
So we were standing there at least me, I was standing there for a solid 5 hours in the same spot. They sung the national anthem at like 1 p.m., 1:30 p.m., and we're like, all right, shit's kicking off. Yeah. We're doing this. Nothing for another half hour. Then fucking these jets fly over.
Oh.
They do like the air show thing.
Yeah, I heard it.
It was like 3 flyovers. That's all it was. And then
loud.
Another solid hour and a half goes by. All they say is like, the Raptors will be here soon. Yeah. The Raptors will be here shortly. The Raptors will be here momentarily. Like, okay, at least give us a time update. Yeah. They're barely even showing us what's going on at the parade either. They have 3 giant screens there. they show glimpses of like, oh, this is Marcus Gasol talking to a reporter, or this is blah 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 talking to a reporter on the bus. I'm like, all right, cool, that's cool, but why are you blacking it out in between those times?
Yeah.
You're leaving the entire crowd in the dark, and nobody can get reception to figure out what the fuck is going on either. So, like, I was on a huge high. Like, everybody's going crazy. Let's go Raptors, we the North. Like, it was just so fucking fun. Everybody's just vibing out. They're playing music, so that was great too. And then, 3:30 rolls around. They finally announced, like, the guest of honor, Justin Trudeau, the mayor, who got booed the fuck out of the town. That was hilarious, dude. I've never heard of
it was the mayor or was the premier?
Fucking Doug Ford.
That guy. I heard that. That
was hilarious, bro. Like, and it was so long too. They waited for the boos to stop before they introduced the next person. It was so fucking jokes. And then they start introducing the Raptors. The head coach. This is starting five. Kawhi gets the biggest. When Kawhi Leonard, I don't know if you know who that guy is. He's pretty much
heard his name before.
He's pretty much the star player of the Raptors. Who got traded here this season, but has an option to become a free agent now that this season is done. So we gambled hard on him,
right?
But he's like pretty much the best player in the league right now. We got him. We got a title. We won a championship, first ever championship we won, and now we're trying to like convince him to stay.
Yeah.
So he won the title with San Antonio Spurs a couple years ago. And 100,000 people showed up to their parade. Did you hear the estimates of what was in Toronto?
I heard these numbers.
2 million.
Yeah.
2 million. So 20 times of what he felt in San Antonio, he felt in Toronto.
Big time.
Right? How insane is that? When he came on stage as well, they had a fucking propeller plane flying over that had King in the North. Banner, like a giant King of the North banner. And it was specifically for him. Or I think it was King of the North.
Sure.
Either way, everybody just keeps proclaiming him King of the North, King of the North. We're trying to suck his dick to stay in Toronto right now. Yeah. Stay, bro. Give us another title. Yeah, don't leave.
Back to back.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many funny clips I'll show you afterwards. And then this is where everything fucking goes downhill. 10 minutes after Kawhi Leonard comes out, less than 10 minutes after Kawhi comes out, I feel this rush of fucking people coming towards me. Like, it was like a wave, bro. Pushing. Like, go this way, go this way. You could just hear screaming. I was like, what the fuck? I tripped the fuck out. Like, I thought it was somebody that got into a fight or something, right? I thought people were just overreacting. People were just pushing each other and shit. So I got slightly outside of Nathan Phillips Square, but still, like, in the vicinity. And then the shit started to die down a bit. And then there was another giant rush that, like, pushed me, like, so far back. And it was fucked, dude. Like, you could see kids just like lost and shit. Like, you could see
separation. They must be crying,
it
freaking
was
out.
Fucked, dude. Like, I couldn't even say anything. Like, if there was somebody that I was holding on to something, I just kept saying, keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. That's all I kept saying. I couldn't think of anything else to say. I was like, I don't want to say traumatized because that's too harsh of a word, but I was very fucking tripped out. I was very tripped out.
You're gonna remember this for the rest of your life. Let's just say
it
had an impact.
Exactly. So during the entire time that we were waiting for the Raptors to show up, people were letting off fireworks. Right. So like you could hear the fireworks, and then you could see like it was just those pussy ass small firecrackers, right?
Bomb.
And then you see like go green or something like that, right? Sparkles and shit. But then, like, the more that I thought about it, the last like couple that I heard, I never really noticed the sparkle or anything. So probably could have been that. I can't, like, in my mind, think about this. Like, I was coming down from being drunk in the morning. I was coming down from being ripped still. So like, I'm still trying to piece everything together in my head. But in terms of like the time that the swarm happened compared to the time where I heard those firecrack-ish noise, maybe a gunshot noise, I didn't really piece together how much time in between.
Didn't connect the dots with that.
Bro, I was... So my phone was dead 4 hours before that happened. And they closed down pretty much all the subway stations.
Really?
Like
just shut them.
A solid amount around Union Station because of overcrowding. So I had to walk maybe half an hour from Nathan Phillips Square to get to like I believe it was Museum Station. And then just took the fucking subway there, back up north to my place in Vaughan, and then just walked home. I was dehydrated. I was fucked up. I was like, what the fuck just happened? I have no idea what even happened. On the way from Nathan Phillips Square to the subway, I heard just so many glimpses of conversations people were having about what happened. I heard there was a stabbing. I heard there was a girl that got shot. I heard there was 4 people that got shot. I heard like it was just different things that I was hearing as I was leaving, because I was walking alone too. I had nobody with me.
Right.
I didn't know where the fuck my brother and them went. So I fucking like it was It was nuts. And then when I finally got home, my girl was pissed. My girl, where were you? I heard there was a shooting. Where were you? I'm like, just chill out.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
Like,
because she's
I'm
considerate.
good. I'm here. I know. She was, yeah, mad, whatever. Anyway, I'm sure all the people with significant others out there understand what the fuck she's going through.
Yep.
Regardless, I charged up my phone and then I quickly checked. I'm like, all right, yo, this is what happened. I don't know if you've seen the CP24's video of the disbursement.
Yes. I watched it a few times, and it moved very quickly. Very, very, very quickly. I can't believe people, people did get trampled, but I thought it would be like...
I felt like if I had a
Canadians
misstep, I would have
so
gotten trampled. No, bro. Dude, I felt like if you did have a misstep on your part, you were going to get trampled.
Totally.
I didn't see anybody get trampled.
Okay, good.
A lot of people just got pushed. A lot of people's stuff got, because people had bags on the floor and stuff, so that shit got trampled. But like it was kind of scary. The scariest part about it was just the kids and the parents looking for the kids and stuff. That was the scariest part. Other than that, like everybody was kind of just tripping out. Some people were trying to downplay it. They're like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing." I'm like, "There's something."
Yeah, it was something.
I'm not even gonna lie. The one thought that went through my head after the second storm, terrorists, like some sort of terrorism shit.
Some type
I'm
of
like,
shit.
yo, this might be like
Sucks.
some machine gun,
Who knows?
AK-47 type
Anything.
of shit.
Shooting, whatever.
Yeah,
you
that's
never know, man.
It didn't go through my head the first swarm, but the second swarm.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, if it's still going on, something's fucked up, something's happening.
Something's up.
So like, I just beeline like as quickly as I could. I'm like, I'm out of here. I don't want to deal with this shit. And I was passing some big screens that they set up on the roads.
Okay.
They kept the show going on like nothing happened. That kind of tripped me out at first, but then when I looked online at the CP24 video, once you see the disbursement of the crowd, it's like before the Toronto sign.
Right.
Everything after the Toronto sign, nobody really realizes that anything's going on. I think I just killed it to power saver.
Okay.
But I think it was just so far, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of people, there was a lot of noise, and then even the people on the stage didn't really even realize what the fuck was going on.
Nobody
so
knew.
It was kind of in the real far back, so I completely understand that aspect of it. But like, have you ever been in anything where you're like, my life is possibly a danger right now?
I don't think. I mean, I've felt that in like when I've been camping in isolated areas, and I felt like, you know, certain times like this could be dangerous and my life could be a danger because there's no one there to help me.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you that on that aspect, like I like all these people so tightly packed together. Did you feel, because I've been there for New Year's,
I've done that once.
I couldn't even lift my arm and scratch my nose. That's how pressed I was up to the next person. Were you able to do that? Like, was it? It
was shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, yeah.
I felt comfortable-ish, especially like with me kind of getting to know the person in front of me.
Okay, so
like we're kind of in this together.
Yeah.
Right. Eventually, two of her friends eventually found her.
Okay.
So it was like four of us. So we kind of felt like we had a little bit of real estate.
Sure.
Where we could like we even tried like squatting down just to rest our legs and our knees because standing for so long, right?
Of course.
So we kind of were just like a barricade for each other. So it felt decent. Like if you're claustrophobic, you would probably be fucked.
Okay.
The girl said she was actually like behind the Toronto sign, so she was even closer to the stage, but it was too much for her.
Yeah.
So she had to leave. I'm like, all right, cool. Even my brother told me eventually after that they left the inside of it too because it was just too crazy. Like,
yeah.
There was,
wow, dude.
Fuck. There was a medical emergency like pretty much right before the guys came out. I think it was just maybe heat exhaustion because people were roasting.
Lots of heat exhaustion and dehydration, I hear.
Yeah.
Tons.
I was kind of lucky. Without even knowing it, we were in the shade.
Yeah.
Like until I really start to see people start to sweat and leave and like people looking fucked up, I'm like, oh, we're in the shade right now. Because you've been to Nathan Phillips recently?
Yeah.
Like, you know the bordering like walkway they have?
Right, yeah, it creates shade.
So right at the end of it, like I was like right there. So I was good with the shade. We just stayed. We're like, there were opportunities to move up. We're like, we're cool.
Yeah.
We're here. Yeah. So that was fun, man.
Was it like a line or was it like people just randomly moving around? And it was
wherever
like
you want to go.
Okay. Cool.
If you can get to a space, you can get to it.
Yeah, I felt that way too. Like if you're trying to leave, it was almost impossible. Like it takes a while, you know.
Like it took me forever to get back. Dude, I had to piss so bad. When I met up with my boys, I feel so bad. Like I even apologized to them after too. I'm like, yo, I really got to piss and I doubt I'm going to see you guys after again.
Yeah.
You have a flag, wave your flag and maybe I'll find you, right?
Yeah.
But I went to this fucking... I asked a cop, and the cop told me to go to this GO station that was just up the street. I don't know which GO station it was. It was closed. But the door was open, so I went in, and they had stairs to go downstairs to go where the washroom was,
Okay.
but they had it sanctioned off. I'm like, fuck this shit.
Oh,
I'm gonna piss
really?
my pants right now. I fucking pushed that shit to the side.
Yeah.
Went downstairs. I made a video of it. It was so disgusting and
bro, I believe
scary. Everything was dark. I had my
Yeah.
phone light on. That was the only thing that was
Oh,
on.
that's freaky.
And all the toilets were like full of shit. Like,
Yeah,
looked like nobody
so
been down
many
there in years.
People were probably there. It was like
I felt creeped out. I felt like
Yeah.
if I was about to get murdered, that was a spot.
yeah, you.
Nobody would have
man.
found me either. Nobody would have found me
It's scary.
for a solid however long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great time up until that point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean, like that kind of ruined the day for me. Like that day, I just felt completely out of it. Like the rest of the day, I didn't do shit. Like I'm like I can't. Like I was supposed to study a bit too to like wash up
Sure.
on this. Wasn't even able to do that. But I got out of it after. Like I kind of slept it off.
Yeah.
Now
Makes
I'm
you
like
reflect.
I was looking back at like the videos and pictures that I was able
Yeah.
to take before everything went down, and I had fun, man.
Yeah.
I'll show you afterwards as well. It's great. I'm
Okay.
gonna actually post some in this video at the end of it as well, so
Cool.
you guys can like check that out as well. It's gonna be some cool shit. That was maybe all the way up until about 11 o'clock, 10:30 ish, and then my fucking Google Pixel 2 crapped out on me. Like I should have put batteries in it quicker.
You got there and then you stayed for a while. What? Then you left and went home, and then you came back.
Nah, bro. I got there 8:30. No, I got off the subway at 9. Met up with my friends around 9:30. Had to go to the washroom around 10. And then 10:30, I got to the spot roughly where I
Now
stayed
I understand.
the
Okay.
entire way. Yeah.
Okay. And that's where you.
They had porta
yeah.
potties at the Nathan
Yeah.
Phillips Square, but it was
Disaster.
you're waiting 2 hours to take a piss.
Really?
Okay,
I
maybe not
believe,
2 hours.
but I believe
Hour and a half.
at least there's a lineup, huge line.
Over an hour for sure. Like
yeah.
it did not budge for 15 minutes. I stood,
Oh my
stood there.
God.
So I'm kind of all right. I'm gonna go find some random ass place.
Wow.
And yeah, that made me lose my brother in them, but it's all good.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
What a trip. What an experience. Like a one of a lifetime kind of things, man.
Oh fuck! Like I hope we get to do this again. Like I hope the Raptors win in the next several years or whatever.
Yeah,
but
man, me too.
next time I would go to where they started the parade,
Okay.
which was exhibition place. That's where they have like their training facility.
Can you just follow them?
You can follow them, but there was a
Huge following.
huge crowd,
Massive.
like massive crowds. That's what ended up being the holdup for the parade was the
Yeah.
fact that they had to keep clearing the streets.
Yeah. Move.
They didn't clear the streets properly for the fucking things to come through.
Oh my God.
That's how many people there were. I thought everybody was going to show up at Nathan Phillips Square. There's going to be
Yeah.
a decent amount of people along the route. Nope. Everybody was there.
There was a lot more people than I thought that would be there.
Oh,
honest to God.
insane amount, bro. So next time I'll probably start off at the kickoff point, and then if any bullshit goes down, at least I'll be far from it.
We'll get you a drone too, so you can find your friends.
I have some videos of like the buildings surrounding them, people
Okay.
standing on the top of the buildings.
Yeah.
High buildings,
Really
really
high.
standing. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one being constructed, and you can see just the orange vests of the construction workers at
Okay.
like the top, just looking down and shit.
watching.
It's so nuts, dude. So crazy.
I didn't know we had that
great
many
fucking
people in the city, man.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Fuck. It was nuts. The girl that was in front of me was from Oshawa. Her friends came down from Kingston.
Cool.
Another family that I met was from like London, Ontario. People came from all over the place. I bet they even drove from like Montreal or flew in from Vancouver.
Oh,
or
for sure.
People came from all over the place.
I
Let's be
wonder where
real.
they parked and stuff. It must have been.
My brother told me, he's like, yo, I'm going to go drive to Nathan Phillips Square and I'll park there. I'm like, shut the fuck
Yeah,
up.
right.
What are you going to go at fucking 12 hours before?
Yeah, you got to go now.
Yeah. He's like, all right, I'll take the go bus. So, all right, fuck. Of
course.
You better, bitch. Like,
Oh,
you're not
man.
getting out of this shit. Like, even the subway was I like sardines in a can, dude. Like,
Dude, I work right near Union Station, and I was
Okay.
supposed to go to a meeting that day.
fuck
And I was like,
that.
no,
No,
not
way.
happening.
I felt the worst for the commuters, though.
Yeah.
The commuters were
Yeah.
like,
I think
even
a
the
lot of
commute
people
home.
called in sick though because
sure.
that day seemed like there was like no
Nothing
emails
going
that
on.
were going on. It seemed like there was no phone calls. It seemed like
they should have just made it a holiday. Let's be fucking real.
it might just turn
Voluntary
into-
holiday.
Yeah,
Voluntary holiday. You want to take
shut down the city.
Yeah. You don't want to get paid for today, and you just want to go see these guys.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Totally, dude.
It would be better if it was a stat holiday, but
It would be pretty badass. Maybe it will be in the future.
that's my goal as prime minister, to become prime minister. Whenever like a major team wins a title,
Yeah.
stat holiday. You get
Stat.
paid, go to the parade, do whatever the fuck you want. God damn,
Love it, man.
dude. It was a great time, but yeah, up until then it was
What a
some
trip.
bullshit. Yeah, man, you can only imagine. All right, fuck. Thanks.
No
I
problem, bro.
I wanted to let it out, but I wanted to like share it with a lot of people
I love
too,
it.
right?
I love it.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the fucking story. I'm not I don't have PTSD. I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm chilling. But it was definitely a surreal experience, to say the least. So, just one last time. Let's just finish off with the champs. And you're going to have to stare at my beautiful new avatar. Thanks to my man, LV, at LW_MMA, I believe it is. I'm going to have to quickly look that up because for some reason he keeps changing up his fucking Twitter handle. He may have not changed it in a little while, but every time I look at it, I feel like it's different. I will give you a shout out very shortly, but I had to commemorate the Raptors with this one. So you're going to see this fucking avatar until the next NBA champion is crowned. Even if the Raptors are eliminated from the playoffs, I don't give a fuck. We have a full year to gloat and be happy. And we are the motherfucking champions. All right. Let's fucking get this show on the road. Aren't you guys happy I got the timestamp at the bottom? Because whatever you guys may have just skipped was hilarious and great. So, boo you guys. All right. Like I said off the top of the show before we got into this whole debate, we're going to be going over UFC Greenville this week, which is headlined by Renato, Moicano, and Korean Zombie. Since the last time I spoke to you guys, we had 2 events, and I will go over them relatively quickly. So I had 1.5 units on Marlon Moraes to defeat Henry Cejudo. We all know what the fuck went down there. You know, Marlon Moraes seemed like he was unbeatable in that first round. And the second round, something switched in Henry Cejudo. He made the perfect adjustments, getting into boxing range, landing on Marlon Moraes, and then pretty much just overwhelming him. And then it seemed by the end of that round that Marlon Moraes had kind of shot his load. Excuse me. It seemed like Marlon Moraes had shot his load by that point, and then Cejudo just took over. So I felt like Moraes was... very, you know, it was a good shot there, a 1.5 unit shot at 1.8 odds, minus 130 something. I don't know why the fuck I have this not logged in. I don't know what the fuck UK odds are. It trips me out all the time. If it's like 1 something, obviously it's the favorite, but then let me get you guys those fucking legit odds. It's been like 2 weeks since that event's too, so bear with me, fellas. All right. Minus 125, 1.5 units. So took an L there. Next up, it was Tony Ferguson. I went 2 units deep on him at minus 132. I kind of wish that I went a little bit more too. You know, that first round kind of went worst case scenario. You know, we know Tony Ferguson is a slow starter. Donald Cerrone is a bit of a slow starter as well. However, Cerrone was able to capitalize this round. And then in the second round, we saw why Tony Ferguson is the fucking man. You know, he's able to turn it up in these spots, overwhelm his guys. I think Cerrone was definitely going on to lose. I don't want to count out Dad Cerrone. So, does he deserve a third round, aka does he deserve a rematch? I don't know. I'm not completely behind that yet. But I would rather see Tony Ferguson fight for a title. Let's be real. That's what everybody wants to see. So hopefully Khabib can get can make quick work of Dustin Poirier in September, and then get a quick turnaround in December and have a year-end show where he faces off with Tony Ferguson, because that must happen. Right? It must fucking happen. Next up, I had 1 unit at plus 133 on Ricardo Lamas. He's definitely got nothing left on the feet. I thought his stand-up was going to be enough to kind of, keep it at par with Kelvin Kattar, but then I thought his grappling would be the benefactor here for Lamas, but he was not able to implement it, unfortunately, and Kelvin Kattar continues to show why he's such a stud in the stand-up realm and a stud as a fighter. So I'm looking forward to what comes up for him. Unfortunately, lost for him to Moicano a couple fights ago, but it looks like he's back in his groove. So big ups to all the Calvin Kattar bettors there. I probably should have taken the shot on Kattar there, but I was very convinced by Ricardo Lamas' veterancy and his grappling advantage here that I believed he had. However, he was just not able to hold it together on the feet, and he catches the L. Next up, I had 1.25 units on Joanne Calderwood at minus 102. Super close fight. I don't remember it too well, to be honest. It's been a while now, but I felt like it was going to be a close fight. That's what it was, and unfortunately, we take a minus 1.25 unit loss there. My lock of the night play, some bullshit. Bevan Lewis and Darren Stewart, not sure how that fight ended up going to a decision. I thought that Bevan Lewis was going to be a little bit more consistent with his attacks, and I didn't realize that Darren Stewart was going to come in with that game plan either. So I was expecting these guys to kind of get a, Darren Stewart early KO, Bevan Lewis later KO with a little bit more pace. However, just couldn't get it going. So -5 units there. Next up, I had a parlay as well with Yan Xiaonan. She's a beast. I love this chick. I think she's going to be a trouble for a lot of girls. It's unfortunate that her, countrywoman in Wiley Zhang is going to be fighting for the title and possibly becoming the new strawweight champion, in my opinion. And we might have a China versus China battle. I'm not sure if they train together or anything like that because I'm not sure how big the MMA community is over there in China. But both these girls are headed to the top, and it's interesting that they're both Chinese fighters. Next up to close off that parlay was Aljamain Sterling to beat Pedro Munoz. -130, I was highly considering taking it straight. However, I thought that Xiaonan was pretty much a shoo-in in this fight, and she did what she needed to do to win that fight. So I had 1.5 units at plus 2.81 units, so that was a great hit. And then I also had Shevchenko. I fucking wish I hit this line a little bit harder now too. Like, I was very surprised that the line was where it was. Shevchenko inside the distance, -102. I wish I fucking hammered that. A lot of people want to say that Valentina Shevchenko is a point fighter and all that. Yes, kind of. She does like to fight to a decision at most times, but when she has such an advantage on the feet and a girl is as slow as Jessica Ai, Shevchenko with the speed advantage, with the power, with the technique, she's going to catch Jessica Ai in one of these situations, and she just caught her as clean as you can possibly catch somebody. And I wish I'd put more than 1.25 units on it. Regardless, I probably wouldn't have put more than 2.5 to 3 units, so I don't know. It probably would have ended up as a losing night regardless. So that wraps up the betting for UFC 238, -3.2 units. Unfortunate outcome there. And then we came back the next week at Bellator 222. This was a very value-heavy card that I thought that I could capitalize on. So we'll kick it off right at the top when Neiman Gracie had 2 units at plus 150. My only regret about this bet is betting 2 units. Probably 1 unit would have sufficed. Maybe I read it in a little bit too much to Roy McDonald's mental state, especially after that John Fitch fight. Unfortunate and all there. I don't know what really to say. I was very impressed with Neiman Gracie leading up to this. Kind of still am. Rory's jiu-jitsu is really good, especially his defensive grappling. However, I thought that Gracie was going to be able to kind of put on a little bit more of the 5th round performance that he did. But he takes an L here, so that's -2 units for us. Another loss was Darren Caldwell, 1.5 units at -149. I was trying to make a solid unit there, guys. However, Darren Caldwell gets a takedown, does absolutely jack shit with it. So it's evident, the amount of energy he was trying to expend holding Kyoji Horiguchi down was keeping him from actually throwing any strikes and remaining active on top. Kyoji just got away with throwing pitter-patter shots from the top because Darren Caldwell was doing jack shit. So I was expecting the cage to be a little bit more of a factor for Darren Caldwell here, which it kind of was, but it also kind of wasn't because it gave Horiguchi something to post up on and was able to land those shots and get into a comfortable enough position to keep it where it was. So maybe the ropes were a better thing for Caldwell. However, it all came down to activity and what damage was really done, and Kyoji Horiguchi obviously came out on the better side of that. So -1.5 units there, which also flowed into my parlay that I had, which was Juan Archuleta and Darren Caldwell. I'm not going to talk about Caldwell since I just fucking broke that down. But the Archuleta fight, great performance by him. It would have been nice to hit that straight, but I just love the value on Caldwell, and I thought that it just, Caldwell was pretty much a shoo-in for the night. We saw that he was able to get the grappling implemented against Horiguchi the first time around, and it should have been easier this time, but it wasn't. So in total, it was -2.5 units on Darren Caldwell, and then just the -1 unit on Archuleta Caldwell. So I ended that event off -2.7 units. Very shitty. So I was on a bit of a run now. I'm hitting a two event losing streak. Well, slight 3 event losing streak. Stockholm was -0.64 units. Fuck you guys. But well, we're right back at it here now. This week, UFC Greenville, Renato Moicano versus Korean Zombie. Sorry, guys. A little bit of a sore throat. All right. Yeah, UFC Greenville, Zombie versus Moicano. We got John Lineker and Rob Font in the co-main event, which I'm very excited about. Who does not love to see John Lineker fight? Such a fucking beast, such a monster. Always fun to see him in the cage. So glad he was able to replace somebody on short notice against Rob Font. Can't recall who John Lineker replaced. Not sure why I can't remember that off the top of my head. Bryan Barberena against Randy Brown. Great fight for Bryan Barberena to get back into it after that Vicente Luque Fight of the Year candidate. And I think it's a very favorable fight for him here against Randy Brown. Andrea Lee against Montana De La Rosa. I think this is going to be a very interesting fight for Andrea Lee to see if she can actually get her, prove that she is the fighter that everybody believes she is. Other interesting fights: the return of Matt Wiman against heavy prospect Luis Pena. Return of the Violence Queen Ariane Lipski against Molly McCann. Return of Eric Spicely, if you guys are pumped about Eric Spicely. So this is a couple fun fights. Kevin Holland as well. Sorry, had to shout out my man Kevin Holland, who always brings the fun fights. So there's some fun fights, sprinkled throughout this card. There is some value as well that I've been, watching on these bookies and seeing where the lines are going. So I'm being patient this week. You might see a couple bets from me in the next day or two, but don't be surprised if you see it not until weigh-in day where I start plugging things in. But there are two bets that I'm considering for Lock of the Nights. Might play them both, but we got to see what's going on with the rest of the card. I want to make sure I have some, other plays in there to as worst case scenario backups. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's fucking get right the fuck into this card. I'll get into the significance more so of these cards later. But let's kick things off right with the first fight. And like I said, no slideshow this time around. I'm going with the Raptors fucking logo. So y'all are just gonna have to pay attention and maybe read the box that I put at the bottom of every before I be talking about every matchup. And you guys can see the odds plus current records of the fighters. So starting off, we got Andre Ewell against Anderson Dos Santos. Dos Santos, poor guy, had to come into a loss into the UFC against Nad Narimani. He kind of just, he got Nad Narimani'd. Do I have to say more? Decent jiu-jitsu, had an unfortunate loss to Said Nurmagomedov via guillotine choke. It was interesting how he got that. Said had this beautiful clinch that he landed a beautiful knee and then quickly just cinched up a guillotine choke, pulled guard, and torqued on it. And before anybody knew it, it was over. Like Said Nurmagomedov got the choke there. Dos Santos won one fight after that, lost to Victor Henry, and then won 3 straight fights, and then lost one against Nad Narimani. So Andre Ewell is who he draws up next, who's coming off a loss to Nathaniel Wood, as well as another loss. He was coming off a win off to Henry Brown. I don't know why the fuck I thought he lost two fights in a row. Well, one of the fights that I did see of his while I was taping the Bellator card was Patrick Mix. Ooh. Did I skip over Patrick? Yeah. Either way, I skipped over Patrick Mix in Bellator's recap. Oh, so out of it this time. I apologize, guys. Regardless, Andre Ewell, he lost that fight to Patrick Mix way before he made his UFC debut. I think it was 4 or 5 fights before he made it to the UFC. Patrick Mix showed off why he's such a beast. He had a rear naked choke in that fight, and we've kind of seen the unfortunate downfall of Andre Ewell's jiu-jitsu game and his grappling game. A lot of people, Nathaniel Wood was able to kind of exploit that. I think he has, this is a fight where Anderson Dos Santos should be able to capitalize with his ground. Ewell had a masterful game plan against Renan Barão where he was able to pick him apart, kind of outwork Renan Barão, and then wait till he got gassed and then kind of just, took over a little bit more with the grappling and with the striking. So, hats off to him for that performance, but he came back flat in this fight against Nathaniel Wood. He got clipped in the fight and then eventually got rear naked choked with 30 something seconds left in the final round, or 47 something seconds left. So I gotta go with Dos Santos here. He even though he's making his his second walk to the cage just as Andre Ewell is, he has the experience advantage here. He has Dos Santos has 27 fights while Andre Ewell only has 19. How much of a gap does that? How much does that gap really matter here? I think it matters a little bit for Dos Santos because this guy's been all over the world fighting just absolute murderers. And I think that Andre Ewell, he's been getting away with some of these victories. It's kind of sad that in his 15th fight he fought this guy that was 0-1. Regardless, I don't want to rag on him too much for that. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Anderson Dos Santos here. I think he's able to hang with Andre Ewell a bit on the feet, but I think eventually this fight will find its way to the ground. And I think that's where Dos Santos is going to be able to capitalize and get the submission victory. I think I got something stuck in my throat. I apologize. All right, that should help. All right, baby. All right, next up we got Deron Winn against Eric Spicely. Eric Spicely is getting back to the UFC after 2 fights where he's won via knockout. Wow, both of them he won via knockout against Kyle Magalhaes last time, and before that he beat Leo Pla. He took 3 straight L's in the UFC, hence why he got the walking papers, ACJ, Gerald Mearshart, and Darren Stewart. Everybody thought after the Darren Stewart fight that was kind of, sayonara for him, essentially. And everybody was right. I felt kind of shitty that I bet Eric Spicely pretty heavily in that fight, too. I thought that he was going to be able to get Darren Stewart to the ground and kind of just make it rudimentary and Darren Stewart got guillotine choked by fucking Julian Marquez. So I thought Eric Spicely was going to be able to capitalize there. However, he was never able to get his ground game going and lost in that fight. But we do know what his game is, man. He wants to get in there. He wants to get you to the ground. He wants to get your back and he wants to choke you out. His jiu-jitsu game is high level. I'll give him that. However, his striking is very poor. In this fight against Deron Winn, he's probably going to be going up against a guy he's never fought or in this type of stature. Deron Winn is coming in at 5'6", 5'5" on Tapology, it says. I've heard 5'6" somewhere else. 71-inch reach, while Eric Spicely is 6'2" with the 73-inch reach. So the reach may not be that big. However, just the size difference will be enough, and I believe the size is going to be made up in the legs too. So we can see a lot of kicks from Eric Spicely here, I think. He's going to want to stay away from the hands of Deron Winn, as I think he has the power to actually put Eric Spicely out. But to do that, Deron Winn's going to really need to close the distance. He's going to be able to get his hands on him, land those big shots, and then get back out. I don't know how much he really wants to mess with Eric Spicely's guard here. He's still relatively new to the MMA game. He's only 5-0, and just looking at his record, he hasn't really dealt with anybody that has super amazing jiu-jitsu. Tom Lawler, but Tom Lawler's really not been known to have much of an offensive guard, not much of a I would rate Eric Spicely as a higher jiu-jitsu guy than Tom Lawler. I think a lot of people would agree with that. You know what? Let's try to get some hard facts here. Tom Lawler has how many wins by submission? Let's get to the bottom of this shit. 5 wins by submission for filthy Tom Lawler out of 10 wins. And Eric Spicely out of 12 wins, he should have at least 7 submission wins. So, he is definitely the more dangerous jiu-jitsu guy here. So I'm not sure how long Deron Winn really wants to stay on top. He has a very crushing top game. I kind of want to take a peek at Eric Spicely's last 2 fights. I believe that he might be live here. Let's see what the odds are. I believe they just came out right before I got in. Plus 245, plus 240. That's not bad. I might look at the what's the Spicely inside the distance is plus 350. I'm gonna wait and see what the Spicely by sub is. If it's like plus 400 or something, I might take a stab at it, because obviously I think that's his only way to victory here. But Darren Winn is a stud for a reason. He's a prospect for a reason. He's been crushing all of his opponents. A win over Tom Lawler is not bad. It is 2018, yeah, but to get a decisive victory over a guy like Tom Lawler, who was a mainstay in the UFC for a while, is very good for a guy like Darren Winn. So he makes his UFC debut here, and fuck. I'm gonna fuck it. I'm gonna say Eric Spicely, man. I can't believe I'm actually saying this. I believe the value is on Spicely. I'll fucking pick him to win too. I will look into it a little bit more this week. I've done just enough touch up on these guys, but I gotta see what Eric Spicely brought in his stint in the CES after he left the UFC. So if I'm impressed with something like that, don't be surprised to see a small play on Eric Spicely. But on the Tuesday before fight week, or sorry, this Tuesday of fight week, my heart's kind of saying Eric Spicely, and my head's kind of going with it. But that may change. You know what I mean? I gotta see how Eric Spicely really looked in CES before I can make a final proclamation. But right now, Eric Spicely by sub. Moving right on, we got Molly McCann against Ariane Lipski. I'm gonna start with Molly McCann first because Ariane Lipski really hurts me. Like it hurts to talk about her a little bit. But Molly McCann's coming off a decision victory over Priscilla Cachoeira in a fight that I could only describe as like it was so sloppy. Somehow in 15 minutes, but it was a very sloppy fight. Cachoeira is like the zombie girl for a reason, whatever they call her that. And Molly McCann's technique is just, it's okay. That's all I gotta say. It's okay. It's not the greatest. I think that Ariane Lipski is going to have the advantage in terms of technique here. I think that she'll be able to, I think she should, I want to say she should be able to keep this fight on the feet, but she definitely didn't show that against Joanne Calderwood. It really made her gun shy in that fight too, so it was unfortunate that we didn't really get to see the true, the stature that the violence queen brings in Ariane Lipski. But I hope that we get to see it this time around because Molly McCann is kind of a punching bag, and if Lipski pulls the trigger, this is a fight she should easily win. With that said, I'm not ready to lay down minus 200 on her. She like it's crazy to me that after seeing her first stint, that people are so confident and rushing to bet her. She's up to minus 250. Damn, minus 280 at some places now. That's crazy to me. I'm not saying I'd bet Molly McCann at like plus 240 or whatever the fuck she's sitting at, but is Lipski going to be able to dust off that rust? Is she going to be able to come into her own, where she's not gun shy, where she's being the violence queen? Is she going to be able to do that? I think she will be able to, but I'm not confident enough in her to bet her at minus 280 or minus 250 or wherever the fuck she's at. So in total, this fight is a pass for me, but I'm going to take Lipski to win by, let's say second round TKO. Next up, we got a fight that I'm going to quickly gloss over because we all know what the fuck's going to happen. We got Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Alan Crowder. Starting off with Alan Crowder, he's coming off his claim to fame, which is winning an illegal knee DQ fight over Greg Hardy 2.5 minutes into the second round. He's kind of lucky that he lasted that long to be able to make it into the 7-minute mark of the fight. And then he took a way out when he could fucking find it. When he got that way out, he fucking took it. And fortunate enough for him, he didn't have to take too much more punishment from Greg Hardy. So with Jairzinho Rozenstruik, he's getting a guy that's going to hit probably just as hard, if not harder than Greg Hardy, and with a lot more technique. So Alan Crowder needs to rush and get this fight to the feet. If he's not able to get this fight to the feet, he needs to rush and get this fight to the ground if he hopes to win this fight. And if he's not able to within the first 2 minutes or so, I think he's going to have a lot of trouble when he starts striking with Jairzinho, who I think is going to be able to find his chin and put Alan Crowder out. We saw what Justin Willis was able to do. Justin Willis isn't a prolific knockout artist, but I think that Jairzinho Rozenstruik is definitely that. And I believe, what is he at? All wins by KO. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 wins by KO. 6 confirmed wins by KO out of 7. So, I think he's coming in here to finish. As long as Alan Crowder doesn't develop some sort of crazy wrestling game, I don't think that he's going to be able to get this fight to the ground. And I think that Rozenstruik is going to continue his ascent in the heavyweight division and get another knockout victory here against Alan motherfucking Crowder. Am I going to bet it? No, because it's a heavyweight motherfucking fight. And Rozenstruik is currently sitting at minus 220-ish. You know what? I'm going to wait a little bit. If his odds continue to get better, I'll wait until maybe minus 170-ish. I highly doubt it gets there, but if it does, I will probably bet him. Let's see what it is. Rozenstruik inside the distance. Rozenstruik inside the distance, minus 142. You know what? I might fucking hit that. I gotta sit down and look at that a little bit, but I'm pretty confident that's his way to win. Rozenstruik inside the distance, minus 142. Rozenstruik wins by TKO, minus 150. So, duh, you guys already know which fucking prop to take there. But I think this is going to be an easy fight for Rozenstruik. I don't even know how the fuck Alan Crowder made it into the UFC. However, his run stops here. He's going to be taking his walking papers after this one, in my opinion, even though the UFC should be holding on to some heavyweight fighters because they got nobody fucking going around in there, but I think they're going to get rid of him. Next up, we got Matt Wiman, the return of Matt Wiman against Luis Pena. I think Matt Wiman is going up in a pretty stiff test here. You know, it's 4.5 years that it's been since he's fought. I'm surprised that he's coming back. I'm surprised that he was even on the UFC roster. But he's coming back to a very tough test, in my opinion. You know, Luis Pena, 6-1 currently, so this is going to be his 8th fight. You know, very strong prospect. You know, was handed his first loss by Mike Trizano in somewhat of a close fight, where I think that Pena has some work to do. And I think that, you know, getting his feet wet with a bit of a veteran like Matt Wiman, especially a guy who's been off for 4.5 years, is probably a good step for his career. I think he needs to get his feet wet with a guy that's been there, done that, that's seen, you know, guys like TJ Grant, Izzy Valley Flag, Dennis Seaver, Cole Miller, Mac Danzig a couple times. Like, we know that guy has veteran experience under his belt, and he might be able to push Luis Pena to extents that Luis Pena has never been pushed to before. However, I've seen very clear detriments in Matt Wiman's game that I think that it favors Luis Pena very heavily. You know, he was able to get control pretty easily in the clinch against Isaac Value Flag, and I think that Pena is going to have a heavy strength advantage here. I think he's decent enough on the ground too, so I don't think that Matt Wiman's going to put him into too much trouble. But I don't think it is justifiable to play Luis Pena higher than minus, you know, well, he's minus 370 right now, so it would have to go down to like minus 240, minus 230-ish for me to even consider Luis Pena. And I did consider Matt Wiman earlier this week. However, after running a bit of the tape, not interested anymore. I am a violent Bob Ross believer, but I am not a believer to the extent to parlay Luis Pena. So I'm going to take Luis Pena by finisher, I will say first round. Maybe some elbows, ground and pound. But yeah, it's going to be tough for Matt Wiman to get a victory here. Again, like I said it off the top with breaking down this fight, Luis Pena is still, in my opinion, kind of green. You know, 8th fight, you know, second or third fight in the UFC. This is a very pivotal moment in his MMA career, because if he gets a victory like this, it's going to be very good for his confidence moving forward. However, if he takes a loss here, you know, it could be very detrimental in the fact that he doesn't think that he's able to do it anymore, or it's just going to be a very negative effect on him. And a guy with that much talent, physically, you know, his fight IQ is decent. It could be better. You know, it's very important he gets a victory here. I think he gets it done, but I'm not betting it or parlaying it for the simple fact that he could slip up and make a mistake, and I'm not about that. Matt Wiman's jiu-jitsu is good, and he could catch anybody if they make a mistake, but I think that Pena's jiu-jitsu is good enough to keep himself out of trouble. Not 100% sure if he's going to get subbed, hence why I don't want to bet it at all. So it's a pass for me in total, but I'm going to take Luis Pena by finish, probably second round. I may have said first round earlier, but I'm going second round. Next up, we got Dan Ige against Kevin Aguilar. This is another fight that I'm eyeing. I've been a big fan of Dan Ige since he came into the UFC. Unfortunate debut against Julio Arce, but since then he's put together 3 straight victories, in 2 of which he's gotten a finish as well. He finished Mike Santiago in 50 seconds, then he went to a decision with Jordan Griffin, and then he finished Danny Henry 1 minute and 17 seconds into the first round with a rear naked choke. In this fight against Kevin Aguilar, he's coming up against a guy that's a lot more durable than some of these guys he's fought. I'd place his durability higher than Jordan Griffin's. He has a cracking chin. It's ridiculous how good, well, cracking in a good way. He's taken a lot of punishment, a lot of clean shots on the chin, but yet he's still fucking chugging. He's still going forward. So, Kevin Aguilar, fucking 3, 6, 9 fight winning streak. Last loss was to Leonard Garcia way back in 2013, and since then he's pretty much been a man on a mission. He's finished 4 fights, and then taken the next 5 by decision. But he's shown his veteran stature. He's 17-1. 17-1. Made his UFC debut when he was 15 or 14-1 after going on to the Contender Series. So that was crazy itself. But here he's fighting Dan Ige, and I think that he will have the advantage on the feet. I think his aggressiveness and forward pressure is going to be a lot for Dan Ige to handle. I think that Kevin Aguilar is going to be able to keep this fight on the feet. I don't think that Dan Ige is going to get him down. Kevin Aguilar is hard to get down and keep down. It's from everything that I've seen recently, I can't recall anywhere where anybody's been able to hold him down that well. I did bet against Kevin Aguilar with Enrique Barzola, and that one, kind of bit me in the ass too. He was able to keep that fight on the feet, and Aguilar pretty much punished him there. I think that's going to look similar to that. So I'm definitely eyeing a play on Kevin Aguilar. I'm not sure how deep I'm going to go yet, but it's definitely a play that I'm very much interested in. And I think he's very he's very playable at the minus 140ish, minus 150ish odds that he's at. Let's see, right now he's at minus 150ish. So I want to see if I can stick around and get him in somewhere in the minus 130 range. I'm not too mad at taking my time with it. So yeah, I'm going to take Kevin Aguilar, probably by decision as well. He'll be able to outland Dan Ige on the feet, and I believe Ige is relatively tough. He went full 3 rounds with Julio Arce getting beat up on, and I think that Kevin Aguilar, being as tough as he is, and as much of a forward pressure fighter as he is, he does lack some of the finishing ability as of late, but I do think that he wins this fight with his stand-up striking. His stand-up. Next up, we got Ashley Yoder against Syuri Kondo. This fight is a weird one. I like Ashley Yoder. It's unfortunate that her losses have come to Mackenzie Dern, Angela Hill, Justine Kish, and Maria Rios. But in between those fights, she's shown some flashes of brilliance, in my opinion. The Amanda Cooper fight was relatively close. It's a split decision. I believe there was a 30-27 going the other way as well. Amanda Cooper was able to land some takedowns. After the first one that she landed, she didn't land too much damage. But after that, the other ones that she landed, Ashley Yoder was able to reverse. I think that's where Ashley Yoder's strength is in her grappling. But she also shows a lot of good composure when she's striking on the feet as well. She has, a nice long straight punch that she throws. I believe it's her left. So she's, goddamn. It's her right, sorry. So she has a nice long cross that she was able to land continuously on a girl like Amanda Cooper, who has good boxing, roughly good boxing. Syuri Kondo, on the other hand, it's tough to get a complete read on her game. She likes to strike. She likes to keep the fight on the feet. She has not attempted any takedowns in her UFC career to this date, even though she got beat up on by Zhao Nanyan and completely bull rushed by Poliana Botello in her second UFC fight. That Chan Mi-jion fight was like the definition of a split decision fight. Like, both girls would meet at the same time, throw a couple punches, and then move out of the way. Like, none would land with enough significance that either one would drop. So it was kind of hard to even tell who won that fight. You could, fucking flip a coin and you would probably get a better decision than what we actually got with. But I think that's going to be the difference here for Syuri Kondo. I think that I think that her lack of urgency and her ability to just fucking, her ability to get into some of these firefights, but think that she's actually winning them when she may not. I think that's where Ashley Yoder is going to have the actual advantage. I think that Ashley Yoder is going to, stick and move. She's going to land the harder strikes. And if this fight does somehow find its way on the ground, I think that she has the advantage over Kondo as well. I'm not sold on Kondo. It's interesting how she got all of her wins to even get into the UFC and remain undefeated, which she was. But I think that she's coming up with a pretty tough test with Ashley Yoder here. Yoder is sitting at -110 is probably the best you can get on her. Yeah, I'm going to go with Yoder here by decision. I think that she'll find these situations where she gets it into a grappling exchange and she gets the better positions, maybe even gets into threatening positions with the back mount. But I think she's going to have a lot of success on the feet, the more visible effect as well. Because, again, Kondo throws with these weird shots where it doesn't look like she's landing, or she's probably not even landing. But just her forward moving ability is probably why she won that fucking Chan Mi-Jion fight. But I think that Yoder's going to have her punches look more effective. And again, if it gets into any type of grappling type of thing, I think that Yoder will have the advantage. One interesting note about Syuri Kondo's fight against Xiaonan Yan. Yan actually went for a takedown in the second round, but after looking at it, it wasn't much of a take. She tried a very, half-hearted trip. And I think they counted that as a takedown attempt. So I wouldn't look too much into her 100% takedown defense. So, her grappling hasn't really been tested, but I think we will see it tested here against Ashley Yoder. And I think if it does get tested, Ashley Yoder will have the better of those exchanges as well. So I'm going to take Yoder by decision, and it might actually be a possible bet for me too if it stays around the pick-em mark. All right, next up we got Alessio Di Chirico against Kevin Holland. Starting off with Di Chirico, he's on a 2-fight winning streak where he won a split decision over Julian Marquez, and then before that he had knocked out Oluwale Bomboshe way back in December of 2017. And the Julian Marquez fight, I thought it was more of a more clear-cut decision for Di Chirico. Chirico or Chirico? I'm going to go with Chirico. He was landing heavy fucking leg kicks against Julian Marquez, especially to the torso. I love that he continuously implemented that into his game plan, throwing it consistently. And you could see within the first couple minutes that Julian Marquez's body was already starting to show some redness. I think that's going to be very important for him in a fight against Kevin Holland here, but that also does give Kevin Holland the option to take this fight to the ground if he wants to, especially with the ability to grab a leg and then try to go for the takedown, because there were a couple of times where Chirico left his leg out there, but Marquez was not able to completely capitalize on it. So I like the we have a little bit of a dogfight going on upstairs. Yeah, there's a dog party going on up there that my boy Big Rob just got into. But anyway, Di Chirico, yeah, I think he's going to find himself in some trouble here. I think that Kevin Holland might be able to get, he might be able to find himself in top mount here. I think he could get this fight to the ground, and I think he'll have some fun with Di Chirico. I was initially interested with Di Chirico, just as I was with Matt Wiman at the beginning of the week. But with Di Chirico plus 190-ish, plus 185-ish, I don't know. This fight's probably going to be a pass for me. I like Kevin Holland here, but it's hard to trust a guy that's so wild and, sometimes accepting of bad positions. But I don't think we'll find him in a bad position here. And I think he's good enough on the feet to hold his own against Di Chirico, and he will minimize any type of the body kicks and probably even capitalize on the body kicks, maybe catch them and turn them into a takedown. So I think this fight will eventually show us Kevin Holland's ground game, which a lot of people were impressed by in his fight against Gerald Meerschaert, myself included. So I think this is going to be, a submission victory for Kevin Holland, probably in the second round. But I wouldn't be mad at seeing somebody take an underdog shot at Di Chirico. Am I? Nah. I'm not going to take an underdog shot at him. Next up, we got Andrea Lee against Montana De La Rosa. You want to talk about an underdog? This is probably the one. Montana De La Rosa currently sitting around plus 185. I really like her, man. She's had, so she lost in the Ultimate Fighter House to Nico Montano, who is probably completely understand the better grappler. Cynthia Calvillo, better grappler. Mackenzie Dern, probably the best grappler that she's fought, and then she lost her first two fights. So I'm always going to write off the first 5 or so fights for a person to finally get their feet wet in the pro MMA game. If they even make it past the 5-fight mark, then we can truly see what kind of fighter they're going to potentially turn into. And, in her last 3 fights, Montana De La Rosa, she really showed off her grappling game in her fight against Christina Marks and against Nadia Kassem. Not so much in the Rachel Ostovich fight. Ostovich was trying to go for a takedown, I believe it was, and then eventually Montana ended up on top and ended up getting that rear naked choke with 29 seconds left in the fight. 39 seconds left in the fight. And then in the Nadia Kassem fight, she didn't even make it she didn't even hide it. She wanted to get this fight down to the ground ASAP and try to get the finish. I like her. I don't want to call it like a Tatiana Suarez-ish vibe, but I like her ability to dominate these girls in grappling positions. And, I'm not going to say that Christina Marks and Nadia Kassem are on the grappling level of an Andrea Lee, but I think that this might be the first real test that we'll get for Andrea Lee in terms of the grappling world. On the feet, I got to give the advantage to Andrea Lee. She does a good job with feinting, with her footwork, nice kicks, beautiful punches. I'll definitely give her the notch here in terms of striking, so I can understand why she's the favorite. But I think that the grappling is where it's going to get interesting. And, Ashley Evans-Smith was able to take down Andrea Lee. Evans-Smith has a decent grappling background. I think De La Rosa has a very good background herself. So I think that we'll probably see her be able to get this fight to the ground. And I want to say that I would give De La Rosa the advantage in terms of top control as well. So I think that she'll do a better job than Ashley Evans-Smith was able to get when she was able to get Andrea Lee to the ground. So I'm very much intrigued by De La Rosa at dog's odds here. I want to see if I can get her to plus 200, so I'm going to wait a little bit further into the week. But I'm a big fan of Andrea Lee. I think she's very talented. She is one of the bright lights in that division. At that flyweight division. But I think that Montana De La Rosa is a very, very live dog here. So I will be taking a poke at her. I'm just trying to maximize my opportunity in terms of the best that I'll be able to get on her. So I'm going to wait. I'm hoping for at least plus 200. But I'm going to take Montana De La Rosa here by decision. As long as De La Rosa is successful in getting this fight to the ground, which I believe that she will be, this could be her fight. But on the feet, I believe Andrea Lee is going to have, the definite advantage. So if this fight just stays on the feet for 15 minutes, it's probably not a good fight. So at least not for anybody who's betting Montana De La Rosa. But I'm still taking De La Rosa by decision. I'm taking the grappler here. I think she's going to implement her game, and she gets a decision victory. Moving on to Bryan Barberena against Randy Brown. I love Barberena in this position. However, it's hard for me to bet him at the, minus 270-ish right now. I did put on a marker for minus 250, so hopefully I can get that notification soon, and I get Bryan Barberena at better odds. But I do like him here, man. I think that he could definitely win in this fight. I think that he's going to be grittier than Randy Brown. I think that he has the better, he has the more experience. He also has the more, I think he has a grappling advantage here too. One thing I found interesting was somebody told me that they believe they gave Randy Brown the advantage in grappling. I absolutely disagree. I think that he is a very talented grappler. I think his grittiness and his grinding ability is going to be what is going to be the downfall for Randy Brown. I think we saw some holes in Randy Brown's game in his past couple fights. This Nico Price fight, he was throwing up some decent offensive guard game, but I wasn't impressed with it. I think that Bryan Barberena is going to definitely have the advantage here if the fight does hit the ground. And I think that he's going to make it a dirty fight. I don't think that Randy Brown fights well when he's moving backwards, and that's what Bryan Barberena is going to make him do. So I'm going with Bryan Barberena here by finish. I'm going to say maybe third round chokeout, submission. I want to play Bryan Barberena here really bad, but I don't want to sacrifice, a better line. So I'm definitely going to wait it out. And I won't be completely mad if he continues to go up to minus 300 or something. Maybe I'll look for a parlay situation at that point. But I do want to play Bryan Barberena. I do think this is his fight to win. So I'm taking Barberena by third round submission. Next up, we got the co-main event of the evening. We got John Lineker against Rob Font. John Lineker stepping... You know what? Let me confirm who the fuck Rob Font was actually supposed to fight. Rob Font against Cody Stamann. So, John Lineker is stepping in for Cody Stamann. A completely different stylistic fight for Rob Font, especially a fight that he's had in the past. So Rob Font and John Lineker initially fought at UFC 198, which is the night that Stipe Miocic took the crown from Fabricio Verdum. That was 2016, May 14th, 2016. Since then, John Lineker has gone to 4-2. His only losses are coming against guys that are have better footwork, better movement, and are able to mix that movement and footwork with heavy striking. So Rob Font attempted that type of game plan against John Lineker, but was not successful. He didn't have good enough footwork to get himself off the cage. John Lineker was always able to kind of paint him into a corner and then unleash his brutal shots. I think it was just too overwhelming for Rob Font. I don't think Rob Font hits as hard or is as dynamic as a guy like Corey Sandhagen or TJ Dillashaw. So I think it's going to be hard for him to try to cook up a victory here. And then even when John Lineker wanted to take this fight to the ground, it's pretty easy for him because Rob Font was always scared of the strikes that were coming towards him. So I think we're going to see a little bit of the same here. I'm very tempted to play John Lineker again as the lock of the night play. He's always been a money train for me against guys like Marlon Vera, Brian Kelleher, and I believe even Michael McDonald back in the day. I played him. So I like John Lineker here. He's minus 190 on Bovada. I'm going to see. I want to see where the line goes. I hope some people start buying into that Rob Font hype and think that he can implement the same game as Sandhagen. I don't think so. They kind of have a similar game plan, but or a style. But I think that Corey Sandhagen just implements it so much better, and I think that Rob Font breaks a little bit easier than Corey Sandhagen as well. So I'm taking John Lineker here to win by... I'm going to take him by decision again. I think that Rob Font does stay on his bicycle. His chin and his cardio is pretty good, but I think that John Lineker is just going to land over and over and over, and we're going to get another John Lineker victory via decision. All right, main event time. Renato Moicano against Korean Zombie Chan Sung Jung. Starting off with Korean Zombie, he hasn't fought since the UFC's 25th anniversary event, which they headlined, and they gave a fucking headlining type of performance. They had a crazy back and forth fight for 24 minutes and 59 seconds until Yair Rodriguez threw one of the craziest fucking elbows you'll ever see in UFC history. A backwards elbow landing right on the chin of Chan Sung Jung, who was kind of just going in for the blitz. Thought he had the victory there, and unfortunately, costed by being slightly sloppy in the last second of the fight, and then gets knocked out by Yair Rodriguez. Chan Sung Jung technically he may not be the best striker out there, but he definitely painted a picture on Yair Rodriguez's face. His urgency is to be lacked, to be, it's I don't even know what the word I'm fucking thinking for. It's you hope to see a little bit more from Chan Sung Jung in terms of consistency and output. So you might be seeing a 5-round fight from him at most points if he is scheduled for 5 rounds. That's kind of tough for me to say considering he hasn't gone 5 rounds since he fought Leonard Garcia in 2010. But you have to expect to be there for 5 rounds because he's going to go for it regardless. And if you're not going to break, he's probably not going to break unless you knock him the fuck out. So that's going to be tough. But Renato Moicano, I think, has a perfect style to fight a guy like Korean Zombie. So Korean Zombie, in my opinion, needs to get this fight to the ground because I think that's where he'll have the most success in victory. But I think that Renato Moicano's ground game is really good too. I just think that Renato Moicano is just going to be able to pretty much turn Chan Sung Jung into a punching bag for 5 rounds. He could pick him apart. He has beautiful Muay Thai technique. He's quick with his strikes. He's in and out. I don't think we're going to see a Jose Aldo type output from Chan Sung Jung and Moicano get finished in that second round. I think we'll see kind of a classic Renato Moicano fight. Maybe a 4th round finish for him where he continues to overwhelm Chan Sung Jung and then eventually put him out. But it's going to be interesting to see Renato Moicano even make it to the 4th round. The last time we saw him in deep waters against Bryan Ortega, he got choked out, with 2 minutes left to go in the fight, in a fight that he was decisively winning. Then again, he did come back and beat Calvin Kattar in a 5-round decision, and then he choked out Cub Swanson in the 1st round right after that. But yeah, I think this is going to be a stand-up fight. It might be like a Yair Rodriguez, Chan Sung Jung type of fight where it's just mainly taking place on the feet. And I think that we're going to see Renato Moicano land the better and bigger shots that will, kind of sway the judges even more. But I'm still going to go with like a later round decision for finish. Probably, I'm going to say 3rd round actually. 4th round, it might be a little bit too far into the waters for Moicano, but we'll see where Zombie's able to drag this fight. Yeah, that's pretty much about it. I'm going to take Renato Moicano by 3rd round TKO. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have any fights or any bets made at this point. Maybe I will after this podcast gets posted. But I hope I've given you guys enough information in terms of who I'm looking at, who I'm leaning on, who's possibly going to be my lock of the night play. If not lock of the night plays, underdog odds that I'm looking at. But I think, this card is scattered with decent opportunities. I got to look a little bit more into the props as well, too, because I think there might be some value there. The one that I really looked at again was Rozenstruik with inside the distance, -142. I think that's a great line. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I definitely need to give my man LV a quick shout out. Let me get this guy's fucking Twitter account. LW_MMA. Probably not. You know what? This one's for you, LV, man. I'm doing it for you. 1 second. Where the fuck are my tweets? Where the fuck are my tweets? All right. I can't seem to find it. Oh, all right. At LWMMA_. That's what his fucking thing is. At LWMMA. Make sure you give my man a follow. He's graphic designer. Does a lot of fucking fun shit. Does all the graphic design for me as well. Always holds it down for me. Always comes through. Always does something legit like this. Love the work that he does for me. So make sure you guys follow him at LWMMA_. Yeah. I don't know if I got much more. I hope you guys enjoyed the story at the beginning about my experience at the Toronto Parade, the Raptors Parade. Champions, we champions, baby. Yeah. And I hope you guys enjoy the videos that I post right after this. A couple pictures, maybe a video or two of my experience there before my phone fucking died. And then let's fucking cash some bets. I'll be back on Friday to record Combative Stores episode 6 with my man Tony. Super excited for that one. We had some big events that we can go over. Next 3 events are free, so make sure you guys check out the website, mmalotn.ca/picks, if you guys want to see the actual picks themselves. Again, if it says TBD, it's TBD. You got to wait for the picks to come out. If I made no picks, how are there going to be any picks up there? So follow me at mmalotn if you guys want to keep up with where my head's at with most of these bets. Hit me up on there if you guys want to interact at all. I'm always fucking talking to you guys. I love talking to you guys. May not be as social on the timeline, but on the DMs, I'm there. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. Fuck, I keep feeling like I'm missing something. Tape Index, make sure you guys go check that out on Newsom's website, newsommma.co.uk. Go to betting services and you guys can find the Tape Index there. I help him put that together every week so you guys have the quickest guide to gambling on MMA, especially for UFC events. All right, I think that's it. I think I'm done. Goddamn, that was a long episode. But I'm done. All right, I'm out. Peace. Bye.